the world splits into two camps on birthdays. The first camp sees it as a big important day. Parties, balloons, stories, flooding notifications, and a sense of emptiness if the attention isn't there. The second camp is different. They turn off the alarm, make coffee, and go to work. To them, a birthday is just a regular Tuesday. No candles, no cake, no expectations. In the eyes of the crowd, the calmness of the second camp looks like a system error, a glitch. And if you belong to the second camp, you've probably heard these questions so many times you're sick of them. Why is your life so bland? Are you depressed? Are you mad at the whole world? Those questions, whether intentional or not, plant a doubt in your mind. Could not celebrating your birthday be a sign of a dry, empty soul? But pause for a moment. What if this indifference isn't a flaw at all? What if science shows that not needing to blow out candles isn't because you're crazy, but because your brain is running on a different operating system? Sounds strange, right? Pull up a chair. Today, we're going deep into the psychology behind this mindset. Are you really boring? Or have you unlocked a kind of freedom that the busy crowd has never noticed? And trust me, this goes way deeper than you think. The answer might just make you see yourself in a completely different light. Let's start with the most obvious question. Why does the whole world go so crazy over birthdays? Humans are kind of obsessed with milestones. Psychologists even have a name for them. Temporal landmarks. The human brain is really bad at dealing with the idea of endless time. Life feels like one long, never-ending line of days. And without anchor points, we would feel lost in that flow. New Year's Day, the start of a week, and especially birthdays, act like life rafts. These milestones trigger a psychological effect called the fresh start effect. It allows people to let go of last year's worn-out version of themselves and hope for a better one. That's why people get excited. That's the psychology of hope. On top of that, for most people, a birthday is the one socially accepted excuse each year for them to be the main character. In a high-pressure modern life, where we often feel small and invisible between work and responsibilities, a birthday is when the spotlight finally shines on them. When someone gets a surprise gift, when their phone keeps buzzing with 100 birthday messages, when the whole office stops working to sing happy birthday, their brain gets hit with a chemical cocktail. Dopamine for reward, oxytocin for connection. It feels amazing. And yeah, it's addictive. This is a form of social validation. It hits one of the most basic human needs. The need to be seen, to be cared about, and to have a place in the tribe. For those 24 hours, they feel like their existence is noticed by the whole world. And let's be honest, that feeling is addictive. But this is where things get interesting. People who are not obsessed with birthdays, people like you, often have a different psychological structure. Psychologists call this a difference in locus of control. This concept was developed by psychologist Julian Rotter. It divides people into two groups based on who they believe holds the key to their happiness. Most people who are obsessed with birthdays and easily hurt by them tend to lean toward an external locus of control. Picture it like this. Their birthday happiness is like a boat floating on a river. It depends completely on outside factors. How many people show up? Is the gift expensive or cheap? Does their partner plan a surprise? Is the weather sunny or rainy? If everything goes well, they feel on top of the world. But just one small thing goes wrong. A close friend forgets to say happy birthday, a sudden rainstorm, and their emotional boat sinks. They hand over control of their joy to the calendar and to other people. On the other hand, you, someone who treats birthdays like a normal day, usually have a stronger internal locus of control. Your mind runs on a different operating system. You believe you are the one steering the ship, not just a passenger. You don't need a specific date on the calendar decided by society to allow yourself to be happy. And more importantly, you don't need a group ritual to confirm your self-worth. Psychologists have noticed something interesting over the years. People who value independence tend to feel awkward about mandatory social rituals. Your thinking goes like this. Why do I have to wait until May 15th to eat a good meal? If I want to, I'll eat it on January 12th. Why do I have to wait for this exact day to meet my friends? I want to see them when we're all truly free and actually want to meet. You don't hand your happiness over to a piece of paper on the wall. You hold it in your hands every day. Making your birthday feel normal is not rejecting joy. It's taking ownership of joy. You want to be happy your way at the time you choose, not following a script written by society. But there's more. There's an even deeper neurological mechanism at work here, related to how the brain processes expectations. You know that feeling, right? Your 10th birthday. You dreamed of a huge Lego set. You imagined the perfect party. And then, your mom bought the wrong toy. It poured rain all day. And your best friend got sick and couldn't come. That disappointment hurt 100 times more than not having a birthday at all. In neuroscience, this is called a reward prediction error. When you set expectations too high at level 100, but reality only delivers a 70, the brain records that as a failure. Dopamine levels drop below baseline, creating feelings of sadness, emptiness, and even the birthday blues that many people experience right after the party ends. People on Team Normal like you, whether on purpose or not, have developed a genius psychological defense strategy. That strategy is emotional balance. By treating your birthday as a normal day, you bring expectations down to zero. If nothing special happens that day, you're fine because that's normal. But if someone unexpectedly remembers and wishes you happy birthday, that becomes a positive reward. You feel happier, more surprised. You dramatically reduce the risk of disappointment. You keep your mind steady like a calm river, staying away from the fake highs and deep valleys of letdown that people who put too much expectation on birthdays often fall into. That's not pessimism. It's just knowing where your energy actually belongs. Now, let's talk about a harmful misunderstanding the world often places on you. People usually think that those who don't celebrate birthdays are dry, boring, and don't know how to enjoy life. Wrong. Completely wrong. In reality, people like you often have extremely high standards for authenticity. Let's be honest with each other. How much of the joy at socially polite birthday parties is real, and how much of it is performative happiness? Think back to the office scene. Everyone gathers around singing happy birthday. You have to smile, that stiff, factory-made smile. You have to look surprised. You have to open a gift and say, "Oh, this is so nice," for something you know you'll never use. To your brain, these interactions are labeled as noise, not signal. They burn energy, but don't create real connection. You don't hate joy, you just hate forced fun. Humanistic psychologists have long noticed that introverted or deep-thinking people tend to find more meaning in spontaneous joy than scheduled joy. You would rather have a deep conversation with a close friend over coffee on a random afternoon, where both of you truly listen. To you, that means 1,000,000,000 times more than standing in the middle of a crowd of 50 people on your birthday. Loud music playing, everyone laughing and talking, but no one truly connecting with anyone else. Your indifference is actually a redistribution of energy. You pull energy away from shallow social rituals and invest it in experiences with real depth. You're not saving joy, you're investing it in the right place. However, we also need to be honest and brave enough to look at another hidden angle. Sometimes disliking birthdays is a complex defense mechanism that the subconscious quietly builds. Maybe in the past, you went through bad birthdays. Parents arguing on your birthday, a party when you were 12 and no one showed up, or being compared because your sibling's birthday was bigger and more exciting than yours. Your brain, with its powerful emotional memory, may have silently tagged this day as a threat instead of a reward. Avoiding it becomes the inner child's way of protecting itself from repeated pain. Or more simply, you might be a highly sensitive person, HSP. We often forget that birthdays are a full-on sensory attack. Hearing loud music, constant noise, vision, bright lights, visual chaos, emotions. non-stop pressure to react socially. For an HSP or an introvert, being the center of attention is not a reward. It's a sensory overload nightmare. Your nervous system flips into fight or flight, heart racing, sweaty palms, mind going blank. So choosing to treat it like a normal day, turning off your phone and spending time alone doesn't mean you hate people. It means you're switching off the overstimulation and protecting your precious energy. That's self-care, not self-isolation. And you know what? That makes perfect sense. You don't owe the world your extroversion. You don't owe anyone a party. But this is where it gets really interesting. If you look deeper, your way of thinking may be a philosophical superpower. It shows up in how you experience time. People who are obsessed with birthdays often get trapped by chronological age. Every year, a birthday rings like a cruel alarm clock reminding them, "Ding dong, you're 1 year older. Have you achieved anything yet? Are you married? Are you rich? You're running out of time." That's why existential crises hit the hardest on milestone birthdays, such as turning 20, 30, or 40. The birthday turns into a high-pressure performance report. But people like you, those who can even forget their own birthday, often live by the idea of subjective age. You're not obsessed with numbers. You measure your growth by experience, knowledge, and accumulated wisdom, not by the number written on a cake. Life doesn't feel chopped into years for you. It just keeps flowing. You don't slice your life into 365-day chunks and panic every time one cycle ends. Waking up at 30 feels exactly like waking up at 29. Still you. Still working. Still chasing your passions. Interestingly, this way of thinking is very close to Stoic philosophy. Stoics focus on what they can control, such as daily actions, thoughts, and emotions, and ignore what they cannot control, like the passing of time and aging. By refusing to become a slave to your birthday, you're actually freeing yourself from the invisible pressure of time. You stay younger in your mind because you're not constantly reminding your brain that you're aging on a schedule. Finally, I want to clear your name from the biggest stereotype of all. People who don't like birthdays are cold and uncaring. There's an interesting paradox I've noticed. People who don't like receiving birthday gifts are often the most thoughtful gift givers. Sounds strange? Think about it. People who live by social rituals usually give gifts by the calendar. Birthday comes, gift goes out. The gift often feels like an obligation. It's the date, I should buy something. But you, someone who doesn't care much about dates, you operate through empathy. You see a great book in March and buy it for your best friend because you know they'll love it, even though their birthday is in November. You remember your partner's favorite food and cook it for them on a hard day instead of waiting for their birthday to take them to a restaurant. Your love is constant, quiet, reinforced through small actions, not a once-a-year explosion. You're the kind of person who helps a friend move house under the hot sun, who listens to them cry at 2 a.m., but might forget to text happy birthday on the day they were born. So, ask yourself, which kind of person do we need more in this rough, real-life world? Someone who remembers your birthday because Facebook sent a reminder? Or someone who remembers your feelings and your pain without needing a reminder at all? The way you care about others is the same way you treat yourself. Honest, practical, and not flashy. That's not being uncaring. That's a more mature form of love. So, what does all of this mean? If your birthday is coming up and all you want to do is turn off your phone, order a pizza, watch your favorite movie alone, and go to bed early, then do exactly that with zero guilt. You're not weird. You're not boring. You're just playing a different game than the crowd. You're playing the game of autonomy. You're refusing to let society decide when you're allowed to feel special. You're saying that your value is a constant, something that exists every day, not a variable that only spikes on your birthday. What people call indifference is often just maturity. It's a sign that you've found peace from the inside instead of chasing applause from the outside. Next time someone asks, "You're not doing anything for your birthday?" and you honestly don't care, remember this. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just free. All right, that's it for this video. If this changed the way you look at birthdays, you'll enjoy the other psychology topics we share here. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any videos. We dive deep into the real psychological layers that explain who you truly are. I'm Apex. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next video.